This eventful week is full of macroeconomic data. Of course, hardly any information can outline the impact of policy announcements by the Federal Reserve. Nevertheless, don't miss important economic data. So let's watch a regular economic calendar on InstaForex TV channel. In the European session on Thursday, traders will again bring up the question of prospects for changing monetary policy by the ECB. The question will resurface after the publication of the final CPI in the Eurozone for May. The revised CPI is likely to match the flash estimate, so consumer prices could have grown by 2% in annual terms. That corresponds to the ECB target level. Let me remind you about the low base effect, bearing in mind economic conditions in the EU in May 2020. In this context, the ECB policymakers do not want to jump to the wrong conclusion, so they prefer to refrain from revising the ongoing monetary policy. All in all, the inflation data will hardly change market sentiment. As usual on Thursdays, investors keep close tabs on a weekly update on unemployment claims in the United States. The number of first-time claims for unemployment benefits is expected to go down again last week. Currently, initial jobless claims are already at the lowest level since the pandemic outbreak. Importantly, the number of continuing jobless claims has been also decreasing. Analysts reckon that 3,400,000 Americans carried on receiving unemployment insurance on the week ended on June 12. This dynamic will certainly benefit dollar-denominated assets. There is another event which will hardly change trading sentiment, but should not be neglected. The Bank of Japan is due to hold a monetary policy meeting. The odds are that the policymakers will decide to leave the key policy rate at minus 0.10%, the record low level since 2016. Notably, Japan's monetary authorities loosened monetary policy twice in 2020 through expanding the asset buying program and creating a new mechanism for financing companies that were stricken by the corona crisis. The central bank is widely expected to maintain these stimulus measures. In the Asian session on Friday, traders will find an excuse for active speculations. The market catalysts will be inflation data from Japan. Despite the low base effect, consumer prices in Japan have been still going down. Thus, consumer inflation has been firmly tapped on the negative territory for 8 months straight. This alarming information confirms persistent risks for the prospects of the economic recovery in Japan. Indeed, the pandemic restrictions are still daunting consumer activity. The yen is likely to weaken in this background. On the final day of the week, the UK will report on its retail sales for May. The report will showcase robust consumer activity in the kingdom since lockdown measures were lifted. This is certainly bullish for the pound sterling. Besides, the previous report looked better than expected figures. This time, the data for May could be also beyond expectations. Anyway, the pound-dollar pair will rise following the publication. You were watching Forex Trader Calendar on InstaForex TV channel with me, Kate Stichina. We wish you profitable deals with InstaForex.